Namaste book lovers, I'm Shubhi Belwal from Team Book Nerds and welcome to this live session today where we are going to have our guest Kevin Missal and we are going to talk about his new book Sinbad and the Trumpet of Israfil. So before we go further, let's add our guest for today.
Hi,
Hi, warm
how are you?
welcome Kevin, we have been waiting for you.
Great. I hope my voice is clear and everything, right?
Yes, all good. So we are
Perfect.
so glad to have you here. How is your day going so far?
Lazy, to be honest. It's a Sunday, so I'm not working a lot today. I'm just, eating and enjoying. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Well, that is what the weekend is for, and you deserve this much needed break after this hit that I'm having in my hand right now.
Thank you.
Congratulations for your another new hit book. And for those of us who are joining us now today in this live session, here we have Kevin Missal, the young heartthrob writer who has taken Indian reading space and even international one with a storm. And after having hits like Narsimha trilogy, Kalki trilogy. Now we have his new book, Sinbad series. This is the first one in the series. It's a trilogy, right?
It's a trilogy. I wanted it
Yes.
to be a seven-book series, but it's a trilogy, yeah.
Oh, great. So, like, as you are here now, so would like to listen in your words about this book.
It's a fantasy, sort of a tale about a young boy who aspires to be more than what he is told to be. It's about how he never wants to be a sailor. He never wants to have that kind of a life but he's forced to have that life. And it has like a lot of monsters and creatures and myths and legends and romance and drama and tragedy and everything is there. So I mean, yeah, it's a full package entertainer as always. I mean, that's what I love to write. Yeah.
It is. And yes, like once you're going to pick this book, like that is what happened with me. I was not able to keep it down. It's like full of adventure, and there is always this feeling going on that what's going to happen next, and that makes it such an enticing read. So, Kevin, like, how was your experience going from the full-on mythological books to something which is more towards, I would say, young adult romance, kind of filled with adventure and fantasy. So, how was your experience with the shift?
The shift was pretty good. I like how I was trying to experiment and like with mythology you're quite limited as to what you want to write, but with the fantasy, with something that I've written in Sinbad, you have like you can explore boundaries and you can go and explore possibilities
True.
that usually can't happen. Yeah.
Right, right. So, if we talk about the pre-publishing experience, like how it was for you, the research work, the planning, all that goes at the base of the writing of the book. So, how was it for you?
It took me a lot of time to do it. I mean, it took me around a year or two. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I wrote like around two, three drafts. This is my fourth draft actually, which you have it in your hand. And it was really a frustrating journey, to be honest, because books in general, sometimes they just come quickly and sometimes they just take a lot of time to form up. I mean, there was one of the books that I wrote, which is Ravanputra Meghnad, which took me, like a week to write the book. But this took me a while because the thing was, it had a lot of elements to it. I had to, plus it came from a particular point of view. I mean, it's only told from a Sinbad's point of view. So how do you make other characters, the side characters, interesting as well if you have only one point of view? So that is
Right.
also one of the things I had to solve. So yeah, I mean, it was fun though, but yeah, but it was a pretty tiring experience.
And how are you feeling with all the response that you're getting now? Like it has been just few days since the book
Yeah,
has released.
yeah. So I think, I mean, I kind of expected. I don't want to be cocky and everything, but I kind of expected the book to be good because because it took me a while to write it, right? So I mean, I knew that people would like it because it kind of hits the target audience as to where I want to go for. But yeah, I mean, I kind of expected it. If that's what something I can say.
Like if I tell you my experience, if I would find this kind of a book cover
Yeah.
lying in the bookshelf of some bookstore, I would definitely go for it, even if it would have been something very new for me. Because yes, like the book cover is really, really very interesting,
Yeah.
and yes, like how like you got the idea of writing about Sinbad. Like we all maybe we won't know the detailed story of Sinbad, but at least all of us are, familiar with the name. So it's like being quite a character for all of us. So how did you get the idea to choose this particular character and to
Um,
create like the story?
yeah, I would say that it's I mean, Sinbad as a character came because I wanted to do something global. I wanted to do something different than the mythology that was out there, but I also wanted to do something familiar. I mean, you can go back to Ali Baba, Sinbad. I mean, all those stories that you have heard over a period of time. So I genuinely feel that this is yeah. I mean, that's one thing I would say. Yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah,
I
but
liked this version as well. It was
yeah.
like filled with some something fresh, something new instances, and basically one thing that I really, really loved about the book was was like the adventure. Like the
Yeah.
book is really filled with adventure, and at every page you're going to find something new happening, and that's the best part of fantasy books. Like some people I know, they prefer reading more realistic books and storyline, but then like I'm the fantasy lover
Great.
forever and since long time, so this was a really good pick for me.
Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, I tried to add as much adventure as I could, but also to the limit where I don't want to add too much, but also add not a lot less as well. So it was right in the middle. I tried to find a balance, you know.
Now,
Yeah.
this thing I know you must be getting across a lot, that what are the chances of your work, possibly like particularly this one, to get published, like to get adapted into, a series or a movie? Because if I tell you my personal experience from the very first page, when Sinbad is reaching that island, from that very first page, I was kind of imagining and creating the scenes in my head, and I would love to see it in the form of a movie or a series.
I mean, yeah, I would love to do that as well. The unfortunate part with Sinbad is that it requires a lot of budget. It requires a lot of CGI and everything, and also, I think
Lots of
biggest
potential.
problem, yeah, the biggest problem and the hurdle that I am facing when I am met by producers and everything. I mean, I get like a lot of calls and messages and or mails or whatever. So one of the biggest problems is that they are not able to adapt it because of the budgetary reasons. I mean, and especially like post pandemic. I mean, we are obviously now budget is a major thing, right? I mean, you don't want to risk on so much on such a big thing. So I don't think so. Sinbad's going to take a lot of. Sinbad's going to get made into a movie or something, but it's going to take some time. But I think every book has a day. I mean, you look at Suitable Boy, for instance. I mean, it came during like the 90s, and people have been. I mean, even Secret Games came around the 2005 around that time, and it took
Right,
the longest time
right.
to. Yeah, so I mean, I'm okay. I mean, as long as it's made in the lifetime that I'm living, I am fine with it. Yeah.
Well, we really hope for the best. And coming to the point of you writing a book, which genre did you particularly enjoy it while writing?
Out of all the books that I've written,
Yeah,
okay. So I genre that I enjoyed, I would say it was definitely fantasy and mythology. Of course, I mean that's what I love writing about. I do enjoy also like to write. I mean the thriller part. I mean thrillers. I love thrillers, so that's one thing I want to explore more. So yeah, but mostly it's my fantasy. I just love to create stuff and everything. I mean, I'm writing a book right now. It's on the last on the last parva of Mahabharata, which is Mausala Parva, and it's called the Man of Illusions. It's based on Krishna. So yeah, and I would say that I've added so much of fantasy to it, so much of uh, like a difference to it, that that's what I want to enjoy. I want to do something different in mythology each time that I'm writing. I don't want to keep repeating myself the same thing, right? So even the book that I'm coming out with right now, which is in June, which is on Karn, it's a very realistic portrayal on Karn. You know, it's based on the during the
Okay.
Iron Age of India. It's like as if Karn existed actually. You know, I mean, so it has all the historical references. So I wanted to make it a very realistic portrayal, while at the same time, Sinbad is not realistic. It's a proper fantasy book. So you know,
Right.
I just love to explore the same genre again and again in different formats.
Well, it sounds really exciting. So, like coming to the part of reading now, so what genre do you like to read?
Uh, Same. I think fantasy would be the thing, and thrillers. I love thrillers. I love domestic thrillers. I think they are very, very exciting to for me to read it. And yeah, fantasy and thrillers. Yeah, I wouldn't say more, to be honest. Science fiction is not something my forte. So yeah,
So, what was your latest read?
I'm not pucho. I'm not even reading. I mean, it's been a while. I'm getting so I feel so guilty now because I'm not getting the time to to read. You know, you need to have a certain mental space to read, and I'm not getting that mental space to be honest. And because I have to work on my, so I have a startup as well. I've opened a startup. It's been last 6 months. So I think it's been 6 months since I've not read a book.
So, has this ever happened with you that you have read your book after it got published? Have you ever read your own work?
Yeah, no, I have. Actually, my friends have made a joke about it as well. I mean, whenever I get like a book, so I love to I don't like to read the ebook version of it. I like to read the paperback version of it. So whenever I get the paperbacks as author copies and everything, I just look at my writing and I'm like, oh, ये मैंने लिखा था, मैं तो भूल ही गया था ये लिखा था मैंने. You know, I mean, this quote I never thought that I actually had written. You know, I forget because the thing is, once you write it, I just kind of discard it, right? I don't think about it anymore. So when you come back to it, you kind of realize, oh, this is pretty brilliant actually, and you know yeah.
You would be like praising, क्या लिखा है?
Wow, wow. Yeah, there were times as well I was like, yeah, ये क्या लिख दिया मैंने. So I mean, it was both the ways, you know. I mean, it's yeah. So
So how do you juggle? Like you just mentioned your startup thing. I think you also own this Hub Hogs.
yeah, that's a
Like I
startup.
read
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
bio of the book, yeah. And I also found it in one of your interviews that you are planning to open one writing school soon.
yeah.
So how do you juggle all this? Means
Um,
writing books and like your startup and your personal life and everything.
Yeah, I think juggling is that. So I'm writing for Audible right now. That's taking me a lot of time for me to write. I am so what I do usually is I wake up in the morning. I go to office. I write it in the office. I handle my office stuff as well. So I have a target of every day of 2,000 words a day. So that's what I want to keep at. Then I come home, I rest. So I have my personal life in the evening, and then again I start again, and then I go forward. So I think it's just a circle and keep going again and again. But unfortunately, because of the schedule, what's happening is I'm not able to focus on reading. As I said, I'm not able to do other stuff as well, which kind of is like the more personal stuff. So. But yeah, the writing school part, I'm doing it with a bunch of partners who can also. So that's where my work is allocated and it's different. So that's where it helps. But Hubbox is obviously my own. I'm the sole proprietor. So that kind of like takes a toll because a lot of things, a lot of minute things which people don't realize. Yeah, and since we're growing now, we have almost around 12 clients who are 12 to 14 clients who are like quite involved in it, and we just became profitable this month.
So like there is like so much of hard work going on, so much of a
Yeah,
time and energy in being a writer,
yeah.
and what is that one thing that really makes you feel good about the profession that you have chosen?
Makes me feel good that I am able to write. I'm able to give myself bare naked and out there to be judged. To be. I think it's a there's a beautiful feeling to be judged, and I think that's what I feel. Uh, yeah. So I think and it has kind of like made me so immune to rejection and hurt and all kinds of things, because the thing is you kind of get used to it after a while. So I feel I have this new superpower of not getting hurt. But so even if I get like a 1 star or I get a 5 star, my reaction is the same. You know.
So if not writer, what you would have been?
Um, I would probably be. I mean, I would probably be in a film school. I would probably be like shooting some short films or something, because I always liked films as a thing. I'm a big film goer. I mean, even now I watch something or the other. No matter how much less of a time I have. So yeah, but yeah, probably a director. You know,
Well,
or
that's cool.
probably
That's really
or
cool.
probably a lawyer. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I because I got into law school and I didn't go there.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah. I mean, either that then. So
Well, we are glad that you are here and that you chose to write, and we are lucky to have
same.
you here for that. Now, going to the questions, like we are having a couple of questions here, and those who are joining us, if you want to ask anything to Kevin, please feel free to write it in the comment section. Yeah. How are you so darn prolific as a writer?
I don't know. I mean, I try my best. So it's like to survive as a writer in this country is to write a lot. To be honest, I think that's what the plan is.
Right.
So
Like you mentioned, the consistency of writing 2000 words every day, I think that is, like really a big chunk of hard work that you need to do in your
बहुत
daily
बहुत
basis.
कम है मेरे लिए. You have no idea how less of it is for me. It is, to be honest, because I write a 5 to 8 thousand words a day. So the thing is,
So
going
all
to 2,000 is like a disappointment. It's like I'm an Asian parent who's disappointed in myself. So yeah,
this is for all the would-be or wannabe writers out there. Like, see, like this is the kind of conviction you need.
exactly. Be your own
Exactly.
Asian parent. Yeah.
Okay, another question is, did you derive from this Sinbad fiction a lot or went with a clean slate?
Well, obviously, I derive a lot from the earlier mythologies as well. A lot of earlier stuff as well. I mean, there are characters like Proteus who was in the original mythology. There is a creature called Rock who was in the earlier mythology, but also I built up a lot myself. So I think it kind of had to. Since I watched a lot of Sinbad movies, I had to add like a lot of cheekiness that a Sinbad movie had into the book as well. So basically, it was supposed to be like a mixture and a love child of the past and the present, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that switch as well myself. It was very interesting. Okay, one question is, any future plans?
Future plans is to obviously open the writing school, as I said. I mean, to do like and work hard for it, and probably do something different, because the thing is that there is no writing school. There is no one particular sort of an institution which kind of promotes and which kind of teaches, which has a good faculty. So yeah, we're going for that, and basically change perspectives when it comes to the writing as a profession. People think that writing doesn't make you money. Writing can't be a profession. And I think that's where we want to change the perspective. You know, so, and not just creative writing. We are not talking about creative writing right now. I think there are a lot of courses when it comes to creative writing. I'm talking about novel writing. I'm talking about going to the pages and basically tell you how to write your damn book. So I think that's what I plan to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because I myself had this notion in my head that writing is about when you are in that creative space and you get that upsurge of sharing something, and that is only when you write.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think that needs to break.
Exactly.
Yeah. So another question we have, how do you motivate yourself to write 2000 words every day? And like you mentioned more, so how do you motivate yourself for that?
Uh, One is obviously the fact that if I don't write it, I won't get any money. I mean, my money is stuck. So I mean, that's a big motivation right there. But it's also the fact that without writing, I don't feel like really doing anything else. To be honest, I think writing has become a part of my life, and I think. You just have to kind of get used to it. I know it becomes very tedious and you have to treat it like a job sometimes. And I do that. I do treat it like a job sometimes. I hate it. I sometimes hate writing, But I think it's like any relationship out there, to be honest. You hate it and you love it. You hate that person and you love that person at the same time. So I think, yeah, yeah. Just make sure that the relationship is not abusive. As long as not, it's pretty chill.
This point of having love-hate relationship with jobs, I think this is something that we all will relate to.
Yeah, definitely. And writing is like any other job. I mean, that's what my point is. Like, I mean, people think writing a alag sa skill hai. It's not. It's like a proper job. It's like you sit down and you write. And the worst part about writing is there are no timings. The timings depend on you and your creative freedom.
So another question is, what was it that fascinated you about Sinbad?
His charm, his zeal for life, and I mean, I just wanted to make a character, someone like a Jack Sparrow and an Iron Man kind of a character, like a mixture of both. So I mean, that's where I wanted to do. And what came out though out of it was a very serious, a very sober character, which I didn't want it to be. But then I thought that it gave a lot of depth to Sinbad. So that's about
What
it.
I personally liked in Sinbad was his attitude of trying things, for going for it with courage. Like even in the beginning, as we see that he was kind of, like when we are talking about the flashback, he is having this inhibitions with him, how he's gonna do it. But then he still went ahead and did it. So that kind of conviction and courage that requires really to be a hero, and Sinbad had it all.
Yeah, I think I feel that Sinbad was a very proactive character. I mean, he was very out there, and he was doing things to prevent things. The things were not happening to him. So I think one piece of advice to writing characters, I mean, I'm just floating it by, is that to make your protagonist as proactive as possible, right? I mean, no one likes a passive person in their lives. I think we all know that, right? I mean, even when we become passive by nature, I mean, we don't like that about ourselves, right? I mean, we have to be active because that's how other people will perceive us as. That's how we'll inspire other people, right? And this pandemic had made us all passive. We all just sitting at home and watching Netflix and doing nothing, to be honest. And but who changed their lifestyle even during pandemic, I feel those are the real winners. So that's where I derive my characters from, and that's how I create my characters you know
Right, right. Being active is really the thing
yeah,
that's gonna take you ahead.
yeah.
Okay. So, another question, do you think there is anything like writer's block?
Definitely it is. I mean, sometimes, I mean, okay, so I think writer's block is laziness. I'm like, today I'm lazy, so I can blame it on the writer's block. So, but I doubt it. To be honest, I don't feel that there is a writer's block. I think you're just consumed by too much of other work that you're not able to write it. Um, even during Sinbad, I took like a lot of time to write the book, and for the longest time, I was blaming it on writer's block. But like, it's just that key. First of all, be patient with yourself and be just treat it like as if it's the last thing you want to do and the first thing you want to do. I think you'll break the writer's block.
Another one, did you plan some other ending for Kalki?
Yeah, I did. A very important integral character in that movie, in that book, would have been saved, but I didn't want to. I thought that that person dying was better than being saved. So yeah.
Another one, what's your one piece of advice to aspiring writers? Well,
I don't have one piece of advice, to be honest. When someone asks me what's the one piece of advice, I feel that one piece of advice is just very less, and that's exactly why I'm opening a writing school, because I don't want to give one piece of
Right.
advice, but I want them to give a plethora of advices so that they can work on it, and because I feel that advice should be given only when they're useful, right? I mean, I mean, you go to anywhere and you get free fund advice, kiya ye kar do, but like if it's not useful, what's the point of it, right? So I feel that make a useful. That's what I want to do. I want to build the craft of writing in people. I feel that's and writing good. I mean, not just writing whatever the hell they want to write, right? I mean, it's to write something important and something nice.
To be able to develop it as a skill.
Exactly, exactly. I don't feel that no one is born a writer. I really don't feel that way. I think everyone can be a writer. I mean, it's just you need perseverance and you need like a lot of guidance. So yeah.
Right, right. Another question is, where do you get your information or ideas for your books?
I random. I'll be very honest with you. It's very random. It's very. I have no clue, to be honest. It's just very random. Um, I just choose whichever I feel excited about and whichever theme. I think I most ideas. I feel themes are something that I really feel like. Acha, this is it. I want to talk about betrayal, for instance. And then I work on that theme and create a story around that theme. So it's more on themes rather than ideas for a book per se. You know.
Cliche question, where do you see yourself 20 years from now?
I see myself, I don't know, probably sitting in Hawaii and drinking some coconut water. You know, have written enough, have done enough, and just like not chilling. So, you know, my agenda is to work in my 20s and then chill in my 30s, to be really honest, 30s and 40s. So,
Dream
like, I would,
future. Dream
yeah,
future thought.
I want to work really hard in my 20s. I mean, I know many people are like not working during these times because they think that this is the time they want to enjoy before marriage. शादी से पहले कर लो जितने मजे कर सकते हो कर लो. But I don't want to do that. To be honest, I want to work my ass off during these times. Like, and in my 30s, I just want to enjoy. Yeah.
That's some great idea for youth out there. Coming to the next question, how many half-finished manuscripts are on your laptop?
और बहुत सारी यार. But not anymore actually. शिवानी ने पूछा है ना. हाँ.
Yeah,
Uh,
Shivani Diwakar.
Yeah, I don't think I have any more. मेरे starting में बहुत थे. When I started writing out, I used to come out with a lot of stuff. Now I don't get the time to write like the books which I want to write. Now I only write what the publishers want me to write, to be honest. Or I mean what I pitch them the books. But it's like whichever I pitch, like whichever I write, I know it's going to be published. So I have to write it full. So it's not like I write half of it and leave it. But suffice to say, I mean, there are times, there are moments where I just write something which I just really love, and nothing happens, to be honest, after that.
Right, right. We have got one more question. Did you read Joe Abercrombie books?
Yeah, I did. I have read Half a King. I've read the Blade itself. So I have read it. Pretty good writer. I really like the simplicity of it, and I feel that
Yeah. So, like, talking about what you have been, what you read, about this author, which is your favorite author?
obviously
Like your go-to one?
Brandon Sanderson. I really love him as a writer. George R. R. Martin, of course. I feel that he's a brilliant writer. Uh, yeah, I think that's about it. To be honest, I'm not much of a. I'm a big fantasy geek. So I mean, yeah.
Cool. So, we are really thankful for you to be here. You answered so many questions, and it was really, really nice talking to you, Kevin. One message that you would like to give to all our audience that's here in this live session?
Um, follow book notes. I guess I don't know. So.
Yeah, and we would say please follow Kevin, grab his book Sinbad and
Yeah.
the Trumpet of Israfil, and it's available in all the bookstores on Amazon everywhere. And honestly, if I tell about myself, I'm waiting for the coming parts of the series. So yeah, going to that question, when can we expect the further parts of this series?
You can expect it by next January, February, because I have two more books coming this year. So after that,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So while we end this session, let's take one more question. Do you have any dream project?
I've already done all my dream projects, to be honest. Sinbad was one of my dream projects. I've already done it, to be honest. Khan was another dream project of mine. I've already done that as well. It's going to get published in the next 2, 3 months. So, I mean, I have done all of that, you know.
Okay, one more, I guess. What kind of movies you would have made if you were a director?
I feel I would have made like a lot of masala movies, like, but also at the same time they would have like a lot of depth to it, because I don't like masala for the sake of masala. I feel that if there is a masala, it should be also like maza aana chahiye khane mein. So
Should be delicious as well.
exactly, it should not just be spicy and then you burn your tongue and you're like done for it. So yeah, I mean, I would love to create commercial cinema. To be honest, I think that's my thing. I'm not more of an art house kind of a person. I mean, I would love to do something like an art house kind of thing, but I would want to make something like something like what Rajkumar Hirani does or something, which is commercial at the same time has like a lot of heart to it. So yeah.
Right. I think audience don't want you to leave. So one more question. Do you only concentrate on Indian mythology or no Western one?
No, I think I concentrate on a lot of Indian mythology as well as Western. I think Sinbad is a Western one. That's why you should read it. I mean, that's totally Western. So go for it. Yeah.
Your favorite movie? I think that will be the
Uh,
last question that we are taking for
uh,
today.
yeah, not a problem. So the favorite movie is Dark Knight, which is a Batman movie. So yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah. That's a great choice. So thank you, Kevin, for
Thank
being
you.
here with us, and thank you everyone who joined live session. And yes, hope to do another session with you soon.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
yeah,
so much.
have a good evening.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.